Alright, listen up, you sex-deprived buffoons who are hopelessly addicted to this game like me. I wasn't going to make this video, but I'm tired of hovering Leandra support only to have some yogurt deep throater ban it, to which I say that's not nice. He ignorantly says it's not a support champ, and then I have no choice but to call him a piece of shit person. Leandra is an S-tier support, and the genius Koreans that know this have a 77% win rate on her over 900 games. First let me explain why, and then I will cover the runes and build that are everything on her. For starters, she is one of the strongest level 2s to land in the game. You turn 2, hit a claw cucker, and then bam, enemies now know what it's like to be the Titanic because they just got hit with an iceberg. This turns you into a first blood printing press. Even against mouth-breathing meta followers who play Nautilus you get that advantage, and then put some Frosty the Snowflake get dick combo under their fat astronaut feet until they die. I'm so surprised it works this well that half the time I fat finger my own flash. The very worst case, if you can properly press E then W, is you will get a flash out of this. The next point is your ability to engage. I'm hard pressed to find a single other champ in Riot's giant universe who has an easier time nailing a perfect engage. For example, some minion wants to identify as a Nico and throw shit at me. All I do is aim a claw anywhere in the same damn zip code as that metrosexual lizard and then point and click CC the hoe until my ADC gets his paycheck. Playing this champ support means you are now a modern day Johnny Sims, able to tap any chick from any angle without breaking a sweat, because it's easy as piss with her kit, which turns your job into the enemy base bodyguard, where you put people there and keep them from staying out of it for too long. I don't mean to pick on this e-girl Nico who needs an MIA ping IRL for her brain cells, but I want to iron out the point that engaging with this champ is so easy a Master Yi main could do it. Maybe. Attention all non-Master Yi mains. It's almost 2024 and playing League without a free assistant app is like taking a shit without toilet paper. Introducing Professor. The best app to give you pre-game scouting reports, rune recommendations and builds that you can import right into your client. For example, it says that my jungler is a Soraka lover, and a bit of fact checking does confirm that, and then it says that my top is in a bad mood, and by the lack of any response I'd say it's spot on there too. Once in game I can see how good the enemy is. For example, their Nafiri is a noob, which is evident, but it's important to remember that this is a Riot Games creation, so it likely won't matter. Hey, look, in-game metrics to track performance and shiny summoner spell trackers. Anyways, if you are wondering who wins the battle between bad and mad, the answer is that we all lose for wasting 50 minutes in one of these piss pit games, but actually I lost, which makes having a post-game report that tells me how I personally can improve that much better. So use my link in the description to get all this for free, and let's continue the video. But a support needs to peel rab is probably what you are about to say to me, and to that I'd like to direct your attention to exhibit get dick Trine Mir. As you can see, this fed spinster is about to moan some immortality, so I promptly turn him into a popsicle to prevent this fight from looking like an Alinity stream, and then I also stop him from hitting the old Irish exit. In this next clip you see I am participating in a famous silver shitfest over absolutely no objective, when I'm fully prepared to visit my ADC's mom's house later and say he was a good man, but then I remember that I have more peel than a banana orgy, so I turn something bad into something good. You even have tons of self-peel in case support wordy things land you in a situation where Mr. Waternoose finds out you are becoming friends with the kids you are supposed to be scaring. As you can see, there's just no way you'll die with these tools at your exposure. Lastly, group fighting is practically a fetish that you list on dating profiles with this pick, as you have more CCs than a spam chain email, which makes small encounters very lucrative for the people on your team. You can see here that the enemy idiots are vandalizing our tower, so I decide that one of them is going to be a freeze pop, and then I reject the kids' proposals to leave this pending double homicide. Fighting over objectives becomes something that you always RSVP hells to the yes to, because you have the ability to make the enemies who have crucial team fighting abilities look like absolute degenerate morons in front of their friends, as these fights won't even be close. Your job isn't to carry or to look pretty or to do a lot of damage and post about it on Twitter. No, your job is to stick people to the ground, distract them by some time, and eventually die a goddamn hero for your services. Now let's talk runes. Aftershock is the bread to your EW combos butter. You go in there, root a few scrubs, get super tanky, and then bust a nut on their faces. Font of Life, Second Wind and Unflinching all make it so that when you dive your icy tits into a bad decision you'll be able to heal pretty much up to full inside of a single ult. Then I typically bring a snack and do this other shit too. For build you take Bulwark or you are trolling, because this will help you get level 2 faster and give you enough beefiness to not immediately flop over like a dead fish when you engage. Then I like going the even shroud into healing beam route because it synergizes like synchronized swimmers with your kit, but there will be times that you want to be more sticky than a fresh jizz puddle, which requires Everfrost first and then maybe a Zhonya's to be a dick. You are not a burst mage. Otherwise you would go mid and ban your teammates' picks like a dickhead. Anyways, now that you know the shit, let's get into a full game to show why this is the bee's knees, so please subscribe if you want to join this community of hard-stuck Eskimos rubbing nuts to butts in my igloo. In this game I'm supporting for a Draven who, if you are wondering, did fit the stereotype of being an utter dickhead, but we all hit two at the same time, and like two swinging couples we trade spouses for a bit, which ended up being a better experience for us than them, if I have to admit. This puts us in a great spot for me to show that meta support Rakan actually has to land his engage, where I can just close my eyes, throw a large frosted hand in the same galaxy as them and land a prime 2-man rooter scooter, and then just toggle on auto attack run until they both die. Yes, the kills would have been better on Draven, but while I was celebrating our awesome first victory, he was already threatening to it, which has to be the most relatable thing you've seen all day. That said, I'm sure he won't be mad at me for long when he sees how much Elmer's glue I intend on using under these shitters' feet, as every trade gives us more and more of an advantage. That is, until we are close enough to the tower we can practically smell its dusty gooch stank as he's pinging for me to do the dive, and I'm all like, I'm not personally a fan of goat, but if you want that shit I will serve it, and Angry Andy manages to get that kill for himself. Dragon is spawning soon, which in my ELO means leave your lane and path like you're playing Where's Waldo in a shopping mall with your dick out waiting to get slammed with either an indecent exposure charge or a Fed Tryndamere chasing you, but I want to show that me bluffing with an E was enough to peel for my toxic ADC in this one. Then a minute later it's my mid laner's turn to do something 0 IQ and get caught out, but I actually commit to this claw to pause that particular pending manslaughter. Of course they are all like, hey, let's shoot the messenger, and I'm like, welp, the messenger is a giant ice cube, until y'all calm down as I thaw out and promptly ask everyone to sit still until my teammates can kill them. Word on the street, a giant dragon spawns in this little river uterus, so we are all just waiting for the day that happens when 2 Chainz tries to make my ADC feel like an ADC, but I give him the cold shoulder among other things until he shows us what ELO he's been stuck in for 12 years. This saves my angry juggler and extends this event that I will be referring to as the river roundup until Zed can get more fed by making them all dead, and then I can just wait for the powdered sugar covered Rakan corpse to outplay their Tristana. Side note, their top laner is more fed than Nico Avocado after filming a mukbang video, so while I do glue gun the Silas, I'm saving my ult for the main course Mr. Spin to win, to make sure when he does that whole orgasm sound and refuse to die bullshit I can make sure he is CC'd for the last 12 seconds of his own life. Then typically an A ram down mid situation is just a bunch of grown dudes looking at each other's dick bulge outlines in their tight anime pants, but with Leandra I got more pick than a pocket, so I root Silas and then make Rakan regret ever being a good friend and trying to save the day. We are now casually storming the base like it's a beach in Normandy when I tell my team's Barney to do a spiky trampoline on that rabbit gunslinger so that I could surprise her with a flash sit still and shut up back in fountain combo before she can react. Then we are participating in one of my favorite IRL pastimes, sitting in a bush and spying on unsuspecting bystanders when our cover gets busted, but it's still not enough to deal with the lockdown of Leandra. My Zed is now eyeing up their bot lane like they are a snack and his blood sugar is dropping, so I'm like, hey, why don't you play it like total shit, and then I will come in and make sure at least one of them stops moving so that you can actually land your abilities on him. Anyways, I'm now back mid babysitting 2012 Tyler 1 when the enemy team plans a zesting party, hoping that I'm prepped with enough peels for all of them, as I make it my life's mission to make sure this Draven who threatened to die on purpose at the beginning of the game doesn't die at all, even if it ends with me having to paint myself gold and ultimately die for the greater good. But as I mentioned, being a squishy burst mage wouldn't work for shit with this, because if I fail to one combo a solo laner who likely has a level advantage on me, I would just flop over and get chain banged into oblivion, but surviving and being sticky while ruining his day and getting my teammates fed makes this so much better. And if you've played League of Legends at all in the past 5 years, you know that with the way it currently snowballs, you can get any little sex-deprived angry Andy jerk off to a pirated OnlyFans subscription of an anime doll tilt rager fed, and he'll be able to hard carry the game with glee. So then towards the end of the game I just make sure when anyone comes looking for my ADC thinking they are going to get a free one shot on them like they have been for the last 600 games they've played, they are met with a cold reality, no pun intended, that I am a beefy utility support, and then they will come to the conclusion that this is hopeless, they should give up and never ever doubt someone's off meta pick again in champ select. Subscribe and let me know what you want me to cover next.